Okay, cool. There we go. Okay. I've got a couple things I want to do today. We'll see how many we get through. But the main one I want to add is this UI. That's going to be up at the top. Because if I open the game, you can see that there's like this section up here. I can actually show this better if I try to move the player off the top. So if I grab the dude, say you're up here now. If I try to move him off the top, there's like this entire section right here that doesn't, there's no tile or anything there. And I want to use this to add like a UI, like maybe like an HP, where like whenever you're selecting like a direction, it'll say like pick a direction or something, you know? So we'll see if we can get that done today. That's kind of my main goal. I have a couple of extra goals if that one doesn't end up working, or if that one doesn't end up taking like the entire day. So we shall see. Also, I have this thing now down here, so let me know if that gets in the way of anything. Hopefully it shouldn't. So let's start with a UI element. I'm just going to toss this onto the main scene under a canvas layer called UI. I guess we already have a canvas layer called UI, don't we? Where's that again? That's under an auto load, I want to say. Okay, yeah, canvas layer UI. I'm going to add another one onto the main scene just for testing, and then I think we're going to move it over to the action menu afterwards. Because I don't know what this is going to look like. So I probably want this to be a panel of some sort. Or I guess this could be an HBox container. Or something. Let's do an HBox container for now. Let's do a different song. Something like a little bit calmer, because I'm not very high energy today. So let's center this, and I will make this top wide with a custom size. Okay, so what's the size of this? Oh, cool. There's no grass up there. So the entire window is 720-ish. And the viewport is 360, which is exactly half. So whatever the measurement of the top thing I get. So it's like 40, so this should be like 20 pixels. That feels a little weird, but I guess that makes enough sense, because what that can do is that can give us it like, you can put something in here that's 16 high and have a 2 margin on the top and the bottom. I think that'll work. Let's just do a panel really quickly with container sizing of expand. And I'll give it just a color, so I can make sure this covers the top of the screen correctly. Looks like it does. Let me move the player really quickly. Oh. Yes, okay. So that looks pretty correct to me. Let me put a wall up here as well to make sure that none of the walls get cut off. Oh wow, yeah, no, that is like perfect. That just works perfect the first time. So we can add some cool things up here. So instead of a panel, we can add something like a label, and I can just say like HP label. So that would look something like this. And we need a new font for that, but that already looks honestly kind of fine. Oh shit, my cat sees something outside. She's pissed about something moving around outside. Am I gonna make a video about the game or streams? I don't know yet. I am probably... There's a couple things that I'm probably gonna be able to pull from the stream. Like, any sort of game management, maybe tile-based movement, maybe some UI stuff. But I don't think specifically I'm going to make a video about the game. I might, but right now I don't know. So we have HP. Like, what are some other things that I would want up here? Because I didn't really specify what all this can do. I guess for now we'll just use HP, but I'll go ahead and make this a new scene, and I will call this top bar. And we'll put it under the action manager. Because I think this should be, it's probably pretty tied to the action manager. For some reason, it is not showing currently, which is a problem. Working on the UI for what? So this UI, oh, you're up here for some reason. That's not where you should be. Why are you? Oh, because the UI canvas layer here is offset. So I guess we'll do a different canvas layer, or we will... God, UI is so annoying. Let's see, so this position should be, this one's offset, the positive, so 160, 135. No, that's not going to work. Okay, I'm just going to have to make a different canvas layer for that. I'm working on the UI for the game that I'm working on, which is this old school roguelike where you can move. It's tile-based movement. The player is not in the map currently, so I can't even show anything cool. But, so you can move around. There are items that you can choose to pick up. And the UI that I'm currently working on is, it's going to be doubled as a health display up here, as well as... Excuse me, whenever I press space, I can choose a direction, and that'll like let me pick something to interact with. And whenever I press space, I want it to pop up a message that says like, pick a direction, or like press escape to cancel. And then if you press escape to cancel, you can like, it goes back to normal. So it's kind of just like an informational UI that says you're doing something. So back to the action manager, I'm just gonna add another canvas layer. That's a canvas group. Canvas layer. I'm gonna call this, I don't even know, like just HUD or whatever. Then I can drop this inside of it. So that should at least make it show up, which it does. Yeah, so the game is turn-based in a like an old school fashion, where instead of it being like Final Fantasy or like Persona, it's like as you press a key, so like nothing's happening until I press a key, and then the entire world updates. So you'll see, so this guy's angry at me and he's going to chase me, but only whenever I take my turn. It's like, for example, I can take my turn to attack him, and then we can fight each other, and then my player's going to die because 2 enemies are fighting me. So it's like Caves of Qud, if you've ever played that game. So let's do a couple of things. So the action manager, or where do I want to put this script? I guess I need a script on this as well. And instead of calling this control, I'm going to call this top bar. Attach a script here. This specifically doesn't need to extend HBox container. Just any kind of control. This might be an old school roguelike. Might be a new school roguelike as well. Who knows? Class name, we'll just call it top bar for now. And I'm probably gonna need to use some sort of event bus. So I guess we'll do that as well. That will be under source. I guess it will technically be under auto load. Player event bus. And I think that's all I need to do. I'll say like player damaged or something, or like we can just use the signal directly. I don't need to worry about like all the different ways I'm going to use this. So there should be a function. I guess process doesn't need to exist anymore. There should be a function in here. Or I guess on health changed. I guess that's fine. So here's what I can do. In the player in ready, we'll call super, because I don't think I'm using ready already. I'm not. And then we'll say health change dot connect on health change. Make a new function on health changed. New health. Is health a float? Or is health an int? Health is an int. So I'm like off by a lot. Also, JW, are you working on CAD game right now? On health changed, I can do player event bus dot player. I guess it can just be called health changed. Dot emit new health. Because this doesn't need to specifically be called player health changed because it's in the player event bus. We can tell that it's a player health changed. What kind of stuff's on your to-do list right now? Like what's your next move? Player event bus health changed emit new health. That's great. So now we can do func ready player event bus dot health change dot connect on player health changed. Func on player health changed, which takes in the new health, which is an int, returns void. Your audio, a couple new cards or a new enemy, and the souls / mana counter. Which one are you doing first? Pick one and do it. Actually, I guess, like, what do you need to do audio-wise? Because I thought your game already had audio. Player event bus, health changed, on player health changed. So I also want to grab the HP label. Say HP label dot text equals. I will have. I guess I don't need this to be exported or anything. I can say var health format. I want to say it's HP colon percent D out of percent D. Okay. I'm assuming you use like JSFXR, I think it is, for the sound generation, this website. And then this can be... Oh shit, I just realized I don't have the player's max health. So we'll store health, which is an int. Max health, which is also an int. And then we'll say this is equal to health format percent new health. I guess, okay. There's a couple things I need to change. Health is equal to new health. Punk update label. Okay, there we go. And then I need a funk on player max health changed. Or do I? Because I could just like, you know what? Screw it. This is gonna pass in the player. And then I'm going to say player or health is equal to player.health. Max health is equal to player.max health. Update label. And then for the player event bus, I can say health changed emit self. Make this underscore so it shows we're not using it. And I want to say that might just work. So it should say 0 out of 10 at first because I haven't emitted the player's health changing. But if I get into combat... Okay, there we go. 9, 7, 5, 3, 1. And then it didn't do anything because it died. That's fine. And then just to make sure that this works, if I pick up a potion... Let me also give myself... Here. Oh, there's my cat. Hi, cat. Thanks for the warning. You had random audio streams all over the place? Like, do you mean, like, do you just have them in, like, places they shouldn't be? Like, in... I was going to say in the enemy scene, but that's probably fine to do for your game. So I have 6 HP, and then if I use the potion, it goes back up to 10. Cool. Sick. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. Player event boss, health changed. So there's... Weird problem. That actually should have thrown an error somewhere because this isn't a float that I'm passing in anymore, but... Okay. So that's HP done. Kind of. At least for now. And just to make sure, if I change the player's max HP to like 25, I should also call on health changed. So that it updates the second the game starts. So there we go. We've got 25 HP. Cool. And then let's do this. So under top bar, I'm actually curious about how this works. I'm pretty sure. Let's say I add like panel that's like 85 pixels in size. If I hide this, does it? Okay, so it does only take into account visible things. So I guess what I could do is I could say like player stats here. Oh no. Now that's a problem. Maybe this needs to be a panel or a panel container. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so if it's just a control, that doesn't work. What kind of idea did you have for the audio player controller or component? Because usually what I do, not saying what I do is right, is usually I'll have like an overall audio manager. And whenever I need to play a sound, I will just call that and say play sound. at whatever position, and it'll move one of its audio players to that position, play the sound, and then allow you to use that player again. It kind of like recycles them. Also, I don't know if you've messed around with the actual like audio buses in Godot. This like whole system is so fucking cool to me. Like the way you can like add buses and link them into each other and like string them along is like so cool. Sorry, I'm juggling doing coding and also petting my cat because my cat decides that she wants attention right now. I need to add sounds to this game at some point as well. It would give me a different song right now. I have like a couple songs in mind that I want to listen to. This is one of them. So for UI, I was also going to have a panel container called like information, which is just gonna have a label in it, which is gonna be like action, or we'll just call it like info label. So for example, whenever you pick a direction to interact with. So whenever you are just like roaming around and playing the game, it'll have your HP up here or whatever. And then whenever you go to pick an action, it'll swap to this. And so it'll tell you that you're currently doing something. So it kind of lets you know that something's happening. I think I'll probably do an overarching manager that instances audio players when needed. That sounds more practical. So it's... Let me show you what I did. Obviously, again, this is not guaranteed to be the best solution, but this is kind of how I approached it. So instead of instancing audio players whenever you need them, let me pull up my MTO, or no, what is it, manager? Oh, sound? Global sound player. So what this ends up doing, I'll actually load the game so I can show you what it looks like. Making sure those are muted. So the sound player will have audio streams attached to it. So for example, I have two, I call them channels. It'll have two audio stream players. And whenever I want to play a sound, I can just call play sound. So for example, you can see here, I call play sound wherever I need to. And what this does is it will get the next available stream. So out of these two, like if this one was the last used, it'll go to this one. And then once this one was the last used, it'll flip back up to this one. It'll grab that. It will reset the pitch scale. It will set the audio stream to what we pass in, and then it'll play it. And then you can like kind of reuse this for other functions. Like if you wanted a spatial audio, you could also have a set of like spatial players instead of just straight up stream players. So instead of instantiating and deleting them, it kind of pulls them together and you can like loop over them as you need to. And so every time you grab the next stream, it will grab the current one that it's pointing to, it'll add one, and then it'll loop back to the beginning if need to. And then you can also increase this to as many as you need. So like if you're going to have a bunch of sounds playing, you can increase this to like 20. And then whenever it starts, it'll create 20 players. So if I hit play again, we have 20 audio players to loop through now. Which I think is also, I think there were some people in the Pirate Software Discord server saying that's also how they did it. I also have my audio set up in a really cool way, and I really like it. Like the music is split up into fanfare and BGM. I love this so much. I actually really, really like the, yeah, I mean, copy pasting isn't cool, but yeah, I can send it in, like Godot general. What What is it? Swift. And if you want spatial audio, you would also need a list of spatial players, and then a function to play a spatial sound that moves it to that position and plays it. But I believe in you to figure that one out. So what was I doing back here? Also, I'm just stealing this one from Caves of Qud. This is like exactly what this looked like in that game. Like, you might as well not recreate perfection. Okay, so what was I doing? I was top bar. Recode. Do I want to use an event bus for this, or do I want to just handle this? I think I can just do func. Display action string. Information panel. And then player stats will also be here. And HP label is also a child of player stats panel. Is there not find a child? We'll do that for now. I don't really care too much about performance on load. I won't lie. I guess ideally this panel would have its own class, but I'm just going to drop it to do maybe refactor this to have a function in the here. Oh wait, I also need to check something. I think the other night I changed the microphone setting. No, it's good. It's fine, probably. What game are you making, Disc? What kind of game? Is it a fun game? Is it a not fun game? Are you making League of Legends? Or are you making Rivals 2? The greatest game that doesn't exist yet. What was I doing? So display action string, I was going to do information panel dot display action. I guess I don't even need to do that. Why does this song go so hard? I don't know, man. This song is so fucking good for no reason. I don't know if you've ever played the old Dragon Ball fighting games, but I played this so much as a kid. And then I was watching Nairo, who is a Smash player, and his outro for a little bit was this song from Budokai Tenkaichi 2. And it like immediately took me back to my childhood, and I was like, this song is actually a banger. This isn't even like a song that you see whenever you're like playing the game. It's like in character select. So this isn't something that plays when you're actually like fighting. It's as you're picking a character to fight your friend with. It's a unique game about a dimension inspired by space and progression similar to Terraria. Okay. Can I ask, did you pull any inspiration from Starbound? It's fine if you did, because Starbound is a great game. But that sounds very similar to Starbound. Hello, hello, hi! Sorry. Someone put hi with like 18 eyes, so I feel like I had to do that. Have you played Starbound, Disc? Because if you haven't, I would highly recommend at least looking into it for any inspiration purposes. Info label dot text equals action. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, no, I fuck with Starbound. Information panel dot show and HP or info panel dot show player stats panel dot hide and then func hide action, which will do this. I should also make the action text show up before that, but that doesn't really matter because it has like a delay of a frame, but oh, so you're like actually doing planet gravity, like where as you walk around. That's kind of cool. Because I know with Starbound it was just like a flat plane that they kind of like stitched together as you went around the planet. That's kind of cool that like you can, as you walk around the sphere, it'll like change your gravity, kind of like Mario Galaxy, I'm assuming. Oh yeah, good question. 2D or 3D? And this should be... What am I doing now? So we have this function. So on the action manager, I'm also looking for a voxel system and it's 2D. Okay, that sounds cool. And you're learning Godot through it. That's actually, I mean, honestly, it's impressive that that's something that you would go for as you're learning Godot. Do you have experience in like other game engines, or is this your first one? I mean, either way, that is really impressive to go for something like that as your, maybe not first game, but like learning Godot game. For action manager, so I was going to, oh god, what was it? So show dialogue, picking action equals true, grab an entity, display entities. Oh wait, no, picking direction isn't handled through this. Player handles this in action manager, show dialogue, target position. Picking direction equals false if picking direction. Oh god, I need to remember how. This right here. Action manager dot show picking direction. Did I add top bar yet? I didn't. Let's add top bar in here. Sorry, I was writing code and I forgot to look over. You've experience with Unity and Sandbox. That's actually very funny that Sandbox is one of the experiences you have. I've heard that game is really cool to develop with because I'm pretty sure it uses C#. Because I think Source 2 moved over to C#. I might be wrong on that. Oh, so you're using GDScript with Godot. I am curious why you didn't use C# with Godot if you were used to using C# in the other engines. Because I know a lot of people who move over from Unity choose to use C#. So this will display the action. And then I can have a bug hide direction. C# is not documented well. I want to say the documentation had parity, where like anything with GDScript was documented with C#, but I also do know that the community like the percentage of C# to like GD script users is like 85 to 15, I want to say. That's just like my own empirical evidence, but like obviously tutorials are going to be more GD script. C# can be awkward to use. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's absolutely fair. I was just curious because I know that a lot of people coming over use C#, and I was just curious if there was a reason you didn't use it, and there is. So it's just nice to know. So that if I ever have a friend who's like moving from Unity or whatever, they're like, should I use C# or GD script? I can give them as much correct information as possible. Not if, action manager dot hide top bar. How am I going to tackle iOS with my roguelike? I probably am not. To be honest with you, I don't think this is going to mobile. Because this is just kind of a project that I'm using to do a little bit of on-stream learning and experience making a game. Oh my god, dude, my chat, because my chat's on my right monitor, on the right side of the monitor, and the chat's a little bit too small. I thought that said iOS. I see that says LOS now. How am I going to tackle line of sight? So there is already line of sight with the enemy, so I can actually show you that, because all of the enemies have a debug thing, where I can turn this on. So all of the enemies try line of sight. Let me clear that. So you can see that their current line of sight, they have a range of 8. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or something like that. I guess this guy can't see because it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's exactly 8. He should be able to see me now. Maybe it counts the tile he's on, so maybe I'll change that, but I'm not sure. But it uses... I don't remember the name of the algorithm. It's like the most famous grid-based line of sight algorithm. But as for the enemy, that's already handled. So you can see that it breaks line of sight, but he's going to move to this position because that's where he saw me last. I lied. I thought he would move to that position. That needs to be fixed then. I'm going to write that down. Enemy doesn't move to last position. It's not A-star. A-star is used for the pathfinding, but the actual line of sight is some algorithm that I don't understand. It's like some insane math shit. I actually have it in here under this. Yeah, I also cited the source. Let me pull that up. I can show. But it is from this post where they're using something. Player vision will... Yeah, so that is one of the to-dos that I want to do. I've kind of kept that in the back of my mind because I don't know how I want to tackle it yet. But I want to say my idea is that the player will have like a certain vision radius, and then it will add a list of tiles in that radius. So it'll like go here, and then it'll draw a circle around the player. It will draw a line of sight to each of those tiles, and then it will step along those and mark any cells up until you can't see as seen. If I could offer you a recommendation, symmetric shadow casting worked well with me. Do you have symmetric shadow casting? What is that? Symmetric shadow casting. I've never heard of that, so we're gonna find out what that is. Ooh, okay, hold on. Okay. I was like, maybe this is something that you can use for like a... Why are we not loading? Why is nothing loading? Am I still connected to the internet? I'm assuming I am. Yeah, I don't know why this isn't loading. Oh, there we go. Okay. Shadow casting is a common technique for calculating field of view. The right implementation is fast, consistent, and symmetric. So the best way is to show it in action. So here's the core function of the algorithm. You can step through the code line by line. So can you? Oh, okay. Oh shit! Wait, that's actually so cool. That is. Well, no, I said I'm still connected. I was hoping that you guys would say yes. Oh, hey, Quellis. Dude, look, I'm using your GDtuber program. It was actually really easy to set up, by the way. I'm very happy about that. But yeah, Reddit's weird. I don't know why Reddit's weird, but yeah. So this seems really cool because what I was gonna do, I'm gonna write this down as well. What was it called? Symmetric shadow casting or my own line of sight. So I think I might try both. Because I would kind of want to tackle this myself and see if I can come up with a way to do it using my own code. But I definitely think that eventually I will just use the symmetric shadow casting thing. Because that does seem really cool. And I also really like this animation where it steps through and shows you how the code works. That is like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Ever. Wow. That is so cool. Yeah, because essentially what I was gonna do. What are we saying yo for? But what I was gonna do is what I was saying was where's my program? Here's my program. So what I was gonna do is I was gonna step out from the player to like this tile, and then what it would do is it would check, like it would draw a circle and mark off the tiles in the circle. Like maybe it would be like this or something like that. And then it would draw a line to that using the line of sight algorithm that I use. And then it would kind of step forward. This would end up blocking it. So it would mark this tile is visible, this tile is visible, and this tile is visible. And then it wouldn't change any of these tiles. And then it would draw a line of sight to this tile, which would probably do something like that, which wouldn't update any of those. Then to this tile, like it would probably do like a that or something, which would mark these as visible. And then it would keep going all the way around. And I want to see if that works or what the performance impact of it is. But I do also really like symmetric shadow casting. This is a really cool thing, and I'm also bookmarking this. I'm not using built-in lighting. I'm not doing that. I have used built-in... Oh, oops, I killed the program. I have used built-in lighting before in Godot, and there are so many things wrong with it that I would love changed about it. Like specifically... Oh, I guess I can make this a link. Specifically... being able to check whether something's in vision or not is like the worst thing in the world, because you have to write your own checker for like line of sight, and also a checker for like radius of the light, which is like insane. Also, yeah, I can, let me toss this in here. The Godot resources, not specifically Godot, but a cool showcase of how to do line of sight in old school roguelikes. Includes a step-by-step visualization. Okay, there we go. That's in Godot resources now. even though it's not specifically Godot. But yeah, that actually, I really appreciate you sending me that, because currently it was just this, and I was like, I hope this works. But now I have one that I like guarantee this works. So that's sick. What the fuck? This is the wrong project. Sorry, for a second I just stepped over to a platformer. Didn't mean to do that. So back to this. Let me update the action manager to have the correct one shown by default. So player stats is shown, information isn't. I also love Godot. I'm a huge Godot nerd. So we can pick up the potion, or yeah, so there we go. So if I press space, you can see that now it says pick a direction to interact with. I interact in the direction, pops back to normal. So that it kind of lets you know that something's happening. JW, how do you pronounce Godot? Because I'm pretty sure you don't pronounce it Godot. Like, I'm fairly certain you don't pronounce it Godot. I'm also going to turn off the enemy visualization because that doesn't need to happen right now. Oh yeah, there was another thing that I wanted to do, which was in the player. If we are picking a direction, if action man I guess I could have like a busy function, so instead of directly that, but picking direction is true. Show inventory dialogue. If neither of those, so I'm also going to do if input is action just pressed cancel. Picking direction equals false. Hide top bar. Return. I called it packing direction. Oops. You pronounce it Godot? I don't think you do. There's not a chance you call it Godot. Yeah, there we go. So now I can press escape to cancel that action. Sorry. I just got a message. Your tutorials are fire. You should do them more often. I've heard that. Yeah. We have motivation issues around here, unfortunately. But I do want to do them more often. Cause oh wait, I just realized, is this thing like desynced from my microphone down here? Because it looks like it might be off by like half a second or something. Is it? Oh, it is. Why is it desynced now? Let me... Yeah, let me reset this program really quickly. I wonder why it's... Oh, cool. Oh, wow. Why... There we go. Yeah, okay. Quellis, are you still here? Have you seen that happen yet? The program just randomly got desynced from my microphone. I haven't seen that before. By the way, I'm using, in case anyone's curious, I'm using this program by Quellis called GDTuber, which is a PNG tuber program made in Godot. That's so weird. Okay, back to this though. This is done. So I've done this. Boom and boom. Because now there's no confusion if you press space that something is happening. You can say pick a direction to interact with. There's a weird thing now. This is overreaching, I've noticed. Let me fix that. Oh, and I don't think I would have noticed that if it wasn't a gray panel, which also tells me that this shouldn't be... This should not be a gray panel, and if it is, that's a problem. Is this still a gray panel? Or is this an empty panel? This one's fine. This one isn't. There's no panel there anymore, but... I wonder... Let's see, what's the difference? So visibility is off. Layout. Size. Oh god, I need to remember how this works. Is this not 20? I think it's because the text is weird. Let me do vertical centering. Yeah, I think it's because of the bracket. I wonder, like if I... Yeah, no, that looks in line. Okay, so it's definitely the bracket, which is a problem. Do you have margins? You don't, right? No, you don't have margins. That kind of sucks, though. Because you aren't supposed to be 23 pixels high. You're supposed to be 20 at a maximum. Because you're set to 23 pixels for whatever reason. Is it because of that, perhaps? No. I can't change the size of this to be down to 20 pixels, and this is pissing me off. Why are we so large? Now you're 17. Now you should be able to go down to 20. Okay, there we go. Vertical fill. And you two can actually, yeah, center align. Does this look fine in game, is my question. Yes, that looks fine enough in game. I want to say. I need grass at the top, though. Or I guess I could also do... walls at the top. Yeah, so that has like a little bit of a thing. I really don't like that the default bracket is like down here. That feels like really weird and bizarre. So I might swap fonts really quickly. Hey CK, how's it going? Having a good day? Having a productive day, hopefully. But if not, that's fine. Because, like, I feel that. Let's see. So I think I have these two fonts that I'm going to drag in. I'm going to add to the UI folder. UI. New. Folder. Theme. New. Or I guess I don't need to drag in new. I can just drop these in. So the two fonts that I'm going to try using are these bold and regular versions of Silkscreen, which is a font that I love. It is a font available on Google Fonts. That is a pixel art font that I really like. Like, for example, if I were to pick a direction, like that looks a lot more correct, at least. I wish it had lower cases, but do you not have... No, you don't have lowercase. been doing calculus. I liked calculus a little bit, but I think that's because I had a really, really, really good teacher. Like an unbelievably good teacher who like made sure everyone had a good time with calculus. What garbage are you constructing though? And I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. I feel very productive currently. All right, let's assign a theme really quickly. Theme. And I guess this would actually be under a font folder, technically. New resource theme. If anyone doesn't know about themes, you should definitely learn about them. They're actually like one of the best things about UI, despite UI being like one of the worst things in Godot. But that's just because UI sucks, not because of Godot specifically. Okay. We have that, and then I'm going to go ahead and... God, how do I default font? Is it font? No. Manage items. Edit items. Is there not a font down here? No? Oh god, I don't remember how to override fonts. Is it... override all? Add? Control. Label. Or is it just part of the theme? It's part of the theme. It's up there in the top right. Default font. There we go. So whenever I open this, this should use that. And I can actually turn off anti-aliasing as well on the font by going in here, saying no anti-aliasing, re-import. And Godot gave me 225 errors to boot. So that's kind of cool. Thanks for that one. Despite the fact that it's working, it gave me 225 errors. Oh shit, I forgot this will also update that. I'm on this computer program pressing keys until it does something. Honestly, huge. Oh, Moaz, did you just join as we popped up one-shot music? It's like One Shot and Night in the Woods. Hold on. Sorry, I just realized something. I don't have any Rain World added to the playlist, and I don't think I can. Let's see if the Rain World soundtrack is particularly listenable to. Let me pause it. Oh, there's my cat again. Hello, cat. Let's see. Okay. This one is not going in the playlist. We'll listen to like a high threat. Okay. Wow. These are all individual tracks. Is the Rain World OST on Steam? It is. Okay. I need to buy that soundtrack then and see what it looks like. I'm just seeing what they have on here to see if any of these are particularly listenable to, and they only have the specific tracks. They don't have... What did you say? Add Kayava? Kyava? That's not a thing. Is that a game? Kyava. I don't know what that is. Yo, hello, French garlic bread. How's it going? I'm noticing something maybe a little weird up here, which is that the distance from here to here is different than the distance from here to here, which is like bothering me. And I don't know how to fix it. But I want to say that's probably just a Godot thing. That maybe I can fix. Probably not, though. Oi. Oi. No, okay, it's definitely like an issue with this. Yeah, there's like, this is weird. Top? No. It might have something to do with the font size. It's really weird because it looks really weird in the preview, even though in game it looks fine. Maybe I just offset everything up. Can I do that? No. Flip text. No, don't want to do that. Uppercase, it's already done. Oop. Sorry. Yeah, it's like extra space here. This also looks like really fucked up in the preview, despite the fact that it totally should not. Yeah, it looks like totally fucked up in the preview. I'm gonna say I don't care. Despite that, I'm gonna try to figure out what's wrong with it. Shrink again. Nope. That didn't do it. Shrink begin. That also did not do it. Let's see. Silk screen. Anti-aliasing, mip maps, embedded, multi-channel, system, fallback, auto hinter, hinting, light, auto? Nope. Oversampling, nope. No fallbacks, pre-render, transform. Oh lord. Can I just like, can I offset this? That would be XX. Can I offset this in the YY direction? Or is this going to be scale? That might be scale. I want to say that's scale. Oh, you're right. Thank you. Sorry. Sorgi. And for a full 5 minutes, the stream was silent. Yeah, I'm just going to say... Wait, no, that one looks right. It's fixed. I didn't mean to fix it. It's fixed. Main. Okay. So that's done. What else do we have we can do today? I guess we can add this back in or something, or I guess we could do line of sight. Maybe I'll try line of sight. Let me do a git commit really quickly. No, not GitHub desktop. Don't open GitHub desktop. Get out of here. TeamD. Hey, what's up? We are doing programming right now. I guess not a ton of programming right now, but we are doing programming mainly. What's up with you? It's still slightly off the subpixel position. Is it still slightly off? Is it still slightly off? Let's see. So this is like one whole dot plus like almost a whole dot. This is like one whole dot plus like a whole dot. It's off by a pixel. Ooh. I can also set this back to 1. Re-import. Double check that that's didn't change anything. You're right, it is off by a pixel. Now it's not? No, it is. Yeah, it... Now it's off in a different way. I'm gonna say it's fine, man. We're not splitting pixels out here. I say that. I'm gonna split pixels really quickly. Wait, no, subpixel set. We're gonna call that good. So I'm gonna go ahead and git commit. Pull up. Sorry, we're in the wrong directory. Godot, stream, roguelike. It's at the dot, hit commit. Okay, what's the setting, JW? It has to be set to disabled. Disabled. Re-import. If this doesn't fix it, can I don't know. I wish that the mouse was less sensitive whenever I was doing this, and I wish I had a better way of zooming in. Okay, it looks fine. Git commit context menu and info panel. Git push origin master. There we go. Okay. Let's do line of sight, which is going to be a very scary task. So, oh wait, sorry, people are talking in Discord. Let me double check if... What is that? What the fuck? Why does it wants to be fed 4 plates of rat? Would you accept? Why do you just have a rat burrito available? You just have that ready to go. I try to give them meaningful messages because anyone can check out the project. And if someone decides that they want to see like specific like anything, if they're just like, oh, I want to see like player stuff, which there's nothing player, I guess, because I didn't name it player. So that was a bad example. Like you can look through and kind of see like what's going on. Holy shit. He's eating rat. Also, 2 people join the stream, or join the Discord during the stream. I know Sakay is here because you're typing in chat right now, but if the other person is here, welcome in. Okay, line of sight. So let's do something, which is I'm going to have to edit the pathfinding util, I think. From to... No, this is fine. Let's see. Let me think about how I want to do this. So in the player, my cat... I'm having to fight my cat right now because every time I reach over to start typing something on my keyboard, she looks up and starts licking my arm because she thinks that I'm trying to pet her, but in like a really weird way. Hi. I also don't know why she's awake right now. Usually she's awake from like in the morning, and then she goes to bed at like noon until like late at night. But I guess she's just in like a happy mood to hang out. So in the player, which is, where's the dickhead? Player. This dickhead. We're going to have a node called line of sight. Let's call it like LOS controller. I'm gonna give it a script called, actually I'll just call it site controller because that sounds a little bit better than LOS underscore controller. So this will do a couple of things. Let's see, generate or update site, which will just be a function that I will do for now. Oh god. So how do I want to do this? Oh, this is going to complain because I don't have pass. So let's say that the player's line of sight was this 3x3 grid here. So we would say We only have one vision, so we go up here. And we need to make... How many turns? We need to make one turn, which would be 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45, 45 to account for the entire grid. If we were in this 5x5, we would go here, and we would kind of need to circle around the player. This would be like a half of that. I just don't know how many samples of this I need to take. Because obviously oversampling whenever you only have one vision is annoying, but oversampling when you have like 8 vision would be like kind of a safe plan. I guess you also only need to find out like 1/4 of the circle, or I don't even know. Let's see, so we would start, we would go up, we would rotate it, check that vector, rotate it, check that vector, and then keep going. Let's just say we step by like 5-degree increments for now. And then we will play around with that as we need to. So update site will start by grabbing the player's vision range. The player needs to be here. So we'll say on ready player of type player equals get owner. Then we can say, do you have the vision range? You don't have a vision range. The enemy has a vision range, right? Yes. We're going to give the player a vision range as well, but it's going to be slightly higher because... Actually, I prefer onreadies to be above actual variables. And this needs to be an export as well. We'll say like 12. And then back to line of sight controller, which is also known as site controller. Player.vision range. So the first thing we can do is we can say current position is equal to player.grid position plus a vector2i minus 1 being up times player.vision range. I don't even need to do player.vision range multiplied. I can just do player.vision range minus. So we're going to first check the position that is directly above the player X amount of tiles. Then we will for let's see, var degree step is 5. So for this, we will say total steps equals 360 divided by degree step. Then we will say for I in range, or not in range, we just do total steps, I believe. Then we can current position dot rotated? No. Wait, you can't rotate a... You can't rotate a vector I? You can't rotate a vector 2i? Rotate. I guess you can't. That's fine though. I can say this is a vector 2. And then just rotate that. So I will rotate it by vector rad degree step. Or sorry, this needs to be an offset, sorry. Current offset. Wouldn't rotating it turn it into a normal vector because floats? So it wouldn't turn it into a normal vector specifically. I'm assuming when you say normal vector, you mean length 1. It wouldn't do that. It would on current offset equals current offset equals that. So it would just rotate it. Like if you had a vector, like let's say it was like this is length 2, which that 2 doesn't look like a 2, and then you rotated it 90 degrees this way, it would point here, and this would still be length 2. So instead of it being a 0 minus 2, it would become a 2, 0 vector. So it shouldn't become normal. It should still be that. So current offset. And the end goal is I want a list of positions to check. So I will say positions to check, which will be an array of vector 2i's. So what we can do is we can say if positions, or sorry, no, yeah, if positions to check dot contains, or is it dot contains or is it dot has? Dot has. If it has the current offset dot lore, then we, or if it doesn't have it, we will add it. Current offset lore. Which does this turn it into a vector 2i? Can it be massaged into a vector 2i? I hope so. How does Godot, you want to know, how does Godot know if you only want to rotate it to 90 degrees? What if you rotate it for 1 degree? Then it should just rotate for the 1 degree and would become like a not direct, like it should still be the same length at the end of that. So the current offset, so what we're doing, so we're making a list of positions we want to check. The current offset will start up however much our vision range is, which is 12. Then we're going to step for 5 degrees. And our total amount of steps is whatever 360 divided by 5 is, which is like 60, maybe 70 something. I think it's like 72, I want to say. Is that right? Yes. Okay. It's 72 times. Then we will check if that position is currently in this offset. Like if it's already stored in our positions to check. If it isn't, then we will add it. Otherwise, we're good. And then after all of that, I guess I can do, there's a queue redraw. It's a node. Nodes can't be drawn to the screen. I guess for now, let me make this return the array so that I can use this inside of the player. Return positions to check. I just want to make sure this works before we try doing line of sight on it. So func update site. I really need to rewrite this player controller at some point because it is becoming a bitch to work on. So update site will all site controller dot update site, which will return positions to check for now. Then we can do queue redraw. I'm going to store this on the player for a second. Okay, this doesn't need a dot anymore. Queue redraw, and then we will say func draw. And then how do I can do draw underscore circle. So we'll just draw a circle at, oh God, grid position plus, or sorry, we'll do 4 pause in positions to check. We'll draw a circle on that position. It's an offset. The radius will just be like 0.5. Color will be color.red. That should be all I need to do. And I'm not calling that function, so it's not going to do anything. So we'll just call that function whenever we start. Okay, cool. We have 317 errors, which is like not particularly a great thing to see. Attempted to use has a variable of type vector2 into an array. Okay. So we have to do grid pause is equal to current offset dot floor, where we're constructing a vector2i. So we're going to truncate that down to a vector2i, which actually we don't need to do floor then, because that's an unnecessary double call, because it will already do that, I'm assuming. Two element structure. Does it say anything? Does it say floor? Construct a new vector2i from a vector2 for a different behavior. Consider passing the result of that. It will truncate it, which is the same as floor. So I don't know why they include that, because floor and truncation are the same thing, but whatever. So then we will add grid pause to that. Hopefully we don't have 317 errors now. We don't. But this is not correct. Because we're passing in the raw position. So instead of it just being grid position... Oh, this is going to be annoying. Grid world dot cell size times grid position plus pause should give us the correct position, I think. This is what we're doing right now, which is actually a small problem. Oh no, okay. So this should give us the var world words. Which is vector2. Vector2? Why the hell is this a vector2? I don't know. I'm not here to figure that out. I'm not here to remember why I wrote it like that. So we're going to create the world chords. I guess this would technically be local chords. I guess world chords would be minus global position. So what's happening currently is it's being drawn incorrectly. Sorry, this needs to be... vector2 of that. World chords. This might work now. I hope. Nope. Cannot infer type of world chords. I don't know how you can't, but sure. Okay, we actually have what looks almost like something correct. Let me make these a little bit larger. Like 1.0 build circle. Oh, is this a pixel size? This is a pixel size. So let's make this like 8 pixels, which is like half a tile. Which should make it be a full tile. There we go. So that pretty much works, I think. Oh, sorry, there's a message. Dude, can you please make a video about RPG character classes like the code architecture, inheritance versus components, node versus resources? Please, please, please. Maybe. I do want to do a video on resources. That is in my video ideas down here. Resources, or as Unity calls them, scriptable objects, and I probably will use something RPG related for that. As for like a full RPG related video, maybe not. Gotcha. Good luck, Sakei. Oh, this is... Oh, because it's always rendering from the player. And so now what I can do... So if I change the player's vision range... Let me just call update site every frame and see if that kills the performance. Like, for example, what is my frame rate right now if I'm not calling it? So debugger, FPS... I guess I'm more interested in the process time, I would say. Or physics process time, because that's what we're calling it. So physics process time when we move goes up to about 6, 7 milliseconds. Because I'm doing a lot of heavy stuff inside a GD script, that's fine. If I just make this call it every single frame, this goes up. By a little bit. It's not that bad, honestly. Okay, so that gives me the cells I need to check. Could I tell you something about it now for a few advices? Maybe? So, I'm assuming one of the things that you want to know the most about is resources. Resources are really useful when you have a bunch of things that you want to be able to edit outside of code. So, for example, I have this weapon script here. And what this weapon does is it's just a basic weapon that has like some damage calculation for it. And it's also an item which has a texture and a name. And what that means is I can create these on disk and create like an axe, a spear, and a sword using the exact same script without having to make an axe specific script or a sword specific script. So I can save these to disk and then later I can load them in code, like here, or here, or if I wanted to have an item entity. So I have an item, like let's say I wanted to spawn over here, some sort of item. What I can do is I can go quick load and I can load in any sort of item that I've created. So like this will be a spear now. So if I load in down and to the right should be a spear. And there you go. There's a spear right there. So resources are really handy if you want to be able to reuse the same sort of logic across multiple different like versions of something. It's also really nice if you want to be able to just like save things here. Or like, for example, a key. A key doesn't have like a bunch of different variants, but it's still useful to just have that item resource so that like, for example, this guy down here uses this item resource. So whenever it spawns it, it takes on the key's texture and the key's name. Or if I wanted to create a new one, I could also do new item, new basic weapon, new key here. This one would not be saved to disk and would be a specific version for this item. Whereas, for example, one of these should already be a spear. This one's already a spear. So now we have two spears. So if I load it really quickly, we have this spear and this spear. And if I were to go in here and change this one to have a different texture. So for the texture, I can say, I want the spear to look like this now. One problem with this is because these spears are the same and they share the same resource, you can see that this spear texture was updated and this spear texture was updated. But if I only want to update one, I can either create a new resource down here, or I can click on this and say make unique, either with recursive or not. There's like a slight difference, and you'll find that as you experiment which one works best for your specific case. But now I can go here and I can set this spear to be this texture. And then whenever I hit play, because I made... Oh, hold on. Okay, I need to make this recursive. So make unique recursive. Okay. Then I can go in here, edit the texture region. And then I'll just change this one back to this texture. And if I play, they should have two different textures now. And if they don't, something went wrong. So you can see this one is like more like it's like an arrow with like a point. And then this one's more like a halberd type of thing. So you can see that we can reuse the same code and then change the textures as we need to, or change the stats as we need to. So I'd say once you understand resources, I think a lot of the other systems kind of fall into place. Because resources can also contain their own code. Like these functions called like calc damage or get attack are reused between all weapons. It's just these parameters that change. You improved the audio manager. That's insane. Wait, what are you doing? Play random sound, random pitch. Okay, so you added a random function, you added a spatial sound, random pitch, spatial, random sound, random pitch, spatial. Dude, JW, didn't you say you worked in Java before? Because I want to say that checks out with the fact that you named a function play random sound, random pitch, spatial. Like this looks like a Java method. Like the only thing you're missing is like this would be called like global sound manager with a lowercase g dot play random sound random pitch spatial. No, it makes sense. It's just it's funny to read that because that definitely looks like something I would see at work. Bro is writing enterprise Java code, but in GD script. Oh, now my cat wants to kill my headphone cord. Don't do that, please. Allie. Hi. God, I love this cat. Okay, what was I doing? Line of sight. Line of sight. Sight controller. So, laptop's dying like this. Have a nice day. Have a nice one. I mean, thanks for hanging out. Don't feel obligated to watch the stream. You can always go back and watch the stream later. So, or you don't have to watch the stream. But if you do have any questions, you can always ask in the Discord. We have a bunch of helpful people who are always there to answer. But good luck on whatever you're working on your game. So, we have positions to check. I guess I could use a map for this, but that, whatever. Actually, a set would be like perfect for this. So now what I can do is I can say for position or pause in positions to check. We can do path finding util dot get line to from the player's grid position to the player's grid position plus the current position. So what this will do is this will give us the line from the player to where we're checking. This function is going to get really slow really quickly, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to check for every point in line 2. Oh god, this is going to get really messy really quickly. We can do grid world dot get cell, or is there a vision something? Blocks is no. So we can get the cell at the current point, and we can say blocks vision if the point there blocks vision. Oh god, we're doing line of sight now. I'm doing my version of line of sight, and then we will see how performant it is. Currently, it's not amazing. That's okay, because it's a turn-based game. And we're also running in debug. And we're also drawing a bunch of extra code, or a bunch of extra stuff. So I can show you what it looks like currently. So currently what we're doing is we have a bunch of positions we want to check. We're stepping along it. I could probably change this degree variable, and I think I will. I actually want to play around with that, now that I think about it. So in the player script, I guess we'll do that before I make the actual line of sight checker. So we can do export var degree step. So what would be like a bad degree step? So this is what we look like right now. This is the circle that it's checking in. This is like a 12 vision radius. And the way I'm doing it is we're starting at this position, we're rotating, and then we're grabbing the tile that we're in currently. So let's do this. I want to say if I change it to like 45, this will immediately... Yeah, okay, so we only get these points. So this is not enough. So let's move this over so we can see this as it changes. So as I change this, that looks really cool. So I kind of want to increase this until we match all of the points. Is it really 5? Was it really 5? Hold on, so 6 isn't correct because 6 has gaps. 4 overscans. I guess 1 also kind of overscans. 2 overscans. It really was 5. 5 was the first, quote-unquote, correct. Yes, so we're not currently doing the line checking right now. We're just grabbing the points. Which it seems like not amazingly performant. But it's performance that I can live with. Because like currently our physics process time is 1 millisecond. If I were to remove... Because we're calling it every single frame. Which we almost certainly won't be doing. So if I remove update site, it goes from 1 millisecond to... Okay, so... Oh no. So it accounts for... What was that? 1.4 milliseconds of processing time, which isn't amazing. And we're not even doing line of sight checking yet. We're just storing positions. So that's not great, but that's fine. So now we're going to loop over those positions, draw a line to them, and handle that. I honestly want to say that probably one of the biggest parts is maybe drawing actually might be an issue. Let's find out if drawing is the issue. Because currently we're queuing a redraw every time we update site. Let's find out. Okay, so we're sitting at like anywhere between 1.5 and 2 milliseconds. That's not great. If I get rid of queue redraw... Okay, never mind. Never mind. Crisis averted. The line of sight algorithm adding positions was not taking 1.5 milliseconds. It was the queue redraw, which was drawing extra things on the screen. So that's fine. We don't have to worry about that. So never mind. Performance is fine. Performance is like great. The performance overhead is like not even noticeable actually. So we can check if this cell blocks vision. We will continue. So what that means, right? So for position, we'll grab the line to, sorry, it will break. So then we can do var valid positions, which is going to be another array of vector2i. We can say, so if it blocks vision, we'll break. Otherwise, we will see if valid positions dot has point, and point is the actual square on screen. It's not an offset from the player. If it doesn't have point, we will add that to the valid positions. And then I want to say that might honestly just be it. Let's find out. Cell.blocks vision is something that I already wrote. Uh-oh. Non-existent function blocks vision in point 2521. Let's step up the stack really quickly. Or I guess step into the stack. Are there any cells currently? Let's see. So Grid World has cells, which is a dictionary. that extends all the way up to... Okay, so 21 is out of the point. Okay, so the problem here is that we are checking too far off the screen. So I still need to make sure that this isn't out of the radius of the screen. So I guess for that I can do a clamp here. A grid pause, vector 2 I current offset. Or sorry, grid pause dot x equals clamp grid pause dot x between grid world size dot x and, or sorry, no, yes, that's, yeah, there we go. Maybe that fixes it. We'll find out. Uh-oh. 2521. Why? What's the world size? Grid world. World size is 4021 because this needs to be -1. Because we're out of bounds indexing the thing. And we still have another issue. Okay. 2521 still. Why? Current offset. So we clamp the grid pause between that and that. Should that not... Grid pause dot y. Okay, let's see what's in positions to check. I'm sure that it's something terrible. This is such a terrible array to look at. Okay. Hit line 2. Oh. Okay. Sorry, this needs to happen down here. Because this is where we're converting it to an actual, like... Actually, we won't do... We'll do our target position. Target position equals... Yeah, there we go. So this is where we're converting it to actual world space coordinates. Or like world grid coordinates. And then we can do... this. Should fix that. And then we need to pass this in as well. So we might end up overscanning, but that's okay. Okay, cool. Yes, so these are now drawing off screen because in the player function, we are converting them to grid coordinates. Even though they are already this. That should fix that. Okay, cool. That looks very promising. Oh. Okay, we have some small issues. Ignore the flashing, that's intended. So there's some missing squares here because of the line of sight algorithm doesn't seem to be correct. Ah, okay. So the problem here is... Let me choose a different color than red so we can actually see this, hopefully. Hopefully this doesn't look terrible in the eyes. I want to say this is going to look great. This isn't going to look great. So the issue is, when we're checking this position and this position, the line that gets drawn to the player follows this line, and the line that follows, like, goes back to the player follows this line, and neither of these positions end up checking this square or this square. And then that continues for a few different areas. So it seems like... Where's the enemy, by the way? Oh, the enemy's just getting covered up. Cool. So this isn't gonna work, by the way. I found out. Let me actually drop the player into a world that doesn't have walls, and I can see this a little bit better. There's a door there. Yeah, okay. So there's holes in this line of sight thing, which means I will need to use the flood fill that you sent before. Or not the flood fill, the symmetry shadow casting, I think is what it was called. But honestly, I'm pretty happy with this as just an experiment to find out that this doesn't actually like suck completely performance wise. Like if I were to turn on the debugger, I want to say, yeah, so our physics process time is pretty high, but if I turn off the Q redraw, then our physics process time is still kind of high. Like 3 milliseconds is nothing to scoff at for a line of sight algorithm. But it's not that bad. It is not that bad. So we're going to go ahead and say my own line of sight. This sucks. Causes holes in the checks. So that sucks. So that one will die. But that's okay, because we have this. And we can use this, which is a solved problem. But I figured that I would at least try it. But before we do that, I'm going to put down some walls and then take a quick, maybe 5-minute break. Just to get up and stretch. And then maybe eat something. So let me put down some walls. Oh. Okay, so some small problems, actually. Those walls aren't blocking line of sight at all. So there's more problems with this line of sight algorithm. Which is that this isn't working. For whatever reason. I don't know why this isn't working. Yeah, okay, this isn't working. Whatever. Oh, because we're not Q redrawing. There we go. Okay, so this is working. Kind of. But I'm going to step away for a moment, and then I will be back in like maybe 5 minutes or so. Let me toss up the be right back text. Okay, I'm back. So, let's do a little bit of reading on this. Because I'm gonna end up doing this. So, the problem for this... So I'm assuming this goes over how to do... expansive walls. A field of view algorithm has expansive walls if, when standing in a convex room, you can see all the wall tiles of the room. Okay, gotcha. So actually, my line of sight algorithm doesn't have... Mine has non-expansive walls. Because this square would be blocked by this line here. Expanding pillar shadows. Symmetric shadow casting normally produces expanding pillar shadows. The only exception comes with the field of view originating from a wall tile. Pillar shadows must be constant width. Okay, that's fine. This like gives the player a slight advantage. In many roguelikes, player can cut diagonally across a corner. If doing so lands them next to a tile they couldn't see, the corner is a blind corner. Symmetric shadow casting does not have blind corners. Okay, gotcha. So it allows you to see this extra tile. So whenever you move here, if there was an enemy here, you would be able to see that. No artifacts. The implementation minimizes artifacts by avoiding approximation. It uses rational numbers instead of floating points, and it carefully controls rounding. Some approximation is inevitable. Yeah, operates on a grid. Makes sense. Certain things will be missed. That's fine. Tends to perform well if recursion poses a problem. I don't think it will, but... Oh, you know what's funny too? This is all like Python. So it should be actually really easy to kind of go over with GD script. So what is... Oh god. Okay, so we have to do quadrants and shit. So compute FOV, mark visible, origin. So whatever you're at. Okay, so we say the player is visible. Sure. For every range, this is our 4 quadrants. I'm assuming we start with like up first. Yes, we start with north. We have a reveal function which xy equals quadrant.transform tile. Okay. Mark visible adds the tile xy to the field of view. Is wall. Okay, great. That's something I can do. Is floor. That's great. I don't... So this is where it matters. So we start with no tile. We go 4 tile in row.tiles. So scan row is a recursive function that is done. Return row self.depth plus 1. Start slope in slope. Oh lord. Row.next. How can I convert the row? I'm trying to think of how to convert row to GD script, or if that matters. Because I see we do have the start slope. I don't understand the point of the slope, though. Tiles min column, max column, round tiles up. Okay. Round tiles up because when you're looking at this tile, so the slope is this line, then this line. Okay, got it. Round tiles up, round tiles down. Round tiles up being Math dot. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, okay. So your current depth times self.start slope. So for example, if we were 3 deep, it would be 3 times, and then whatever the slope is, that would be rounded up, which would give us our minimum, which is... I'm trying to think of like how this all fits into place. Slope is just this. There's a lot of... This is one thing I hate about Python, I won't lie. Like, all of these functions are just like set up in such a... It feels weird, but that might just be like recursion. But I feel like a lot of Python functions tend to read like this. Is symmetric. No. Round tiles up. Or that says round ties, but... Okay, I guess we can start... Sorry, there's still a couple things I want to understand about this. The origin X, origin Y. Because why would you call those origin X or origin Y when you could call them ox and oi? Row column equals tile, so tile is a tuple. Self.north. So we add column and subtract row. I also don't like this because row and column, I'm assuming, are X and Y coordinates, but row is also a class name. But I guess that makes sense. There's also no type hintings. I wish there were type hintings. I'm pretty sure Python has those as well. Oh, we're doing yield as well. So I'm trying to... Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out like how I can convert all of this to Godot, because we're not using yield. I'm not doing await. That sounds terrible. And I believe coroutines in Python aren't exactly the same as await in Godot. So we could just return like a list of columns. Which I think would work. Yield tiles that yield self.depth column. Tiles is a function called where for tile and row.tiles is wall tile. If tile is none. XY quadrant transform tile. Return is blocking. Is blocking checks something. I clicked and it took me nowhere. Is blocking? Oh, is blocking is this. Okay. I don't know why. So I'll probably do something more similar to this instead of recursive. Plus or minus a couple of things. I mean, I can do recursive, but... Let's see, quadrant's going to be a little annoying to recreate, although... Let's do this. Where is player? Player.tscn. I'm going to add a new node called shadow controller. We'll just call it that for now. And we can start rewriting some of this stuff over to Godot. So the first thing is... First, let me move this to the other monitor so I'm not blocking chat, just in case anyone types. So the first thing is we can use Godot's like inbuilt classes like this. I want to say. So this class can have a quadrant, I'm going to actually let me select my source first because I want to drop this first. Based off of the shadow or symmetric shadow casting article by Albert Ford. Hey, Lost Stars. Yeah, I don't know. I figured. Oh, it's delayed again. Hold on. It has decided that it needs to be delayed again. So let me restart the program again. Come on. Come on. You can do it, I believe. There we go. Now it should be... Yeah, there we go. I just wanted to put something on screen so that there's a little bit more stuff going on if I'm talking. So Quadrant is going to have Enum Cardinal, which will be north, east, south, west. Then we'll have a func. We'll take in the cardinal, which is an int. We will say self dot cardinal equals cardinal, which is not a variable that we have defined. Okay. Then we will have a function called transform. So this one will take in, so tile is specifically a vector 2i. So instead of tile, we're going to pass in a position. I guess this does return something. What does this return? This returns a vector 2i as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to say match cardinal, which will match on north. We will match on north, east, south, west. In the case of north, we will return... Oh, sorry. Oh, I also forgot origin. Our origin, which will also be a vector 2i, passed in here. I want to say, I think origin should be the first argument. Does that make sense to me? And then we'll say self.origin equals origin. So then we'll return origin plus a vector 2i of pos.x pos.y minus. So because is minus 1 up in this article, do we say? What is y up? Can I look up up? Do we have up anywhere? It's going to say tuple. Ah. I guess I can just assume that it should be because it has... If we're doing north, we're adding the column. Yeah, I think that makes sense. We're going up and to the right or up and to the left. So y is -1. Then we can do the same here. Here and here, where instead east will be positive and I guess positive. This will be... Oh, actually, sorry, there's something else about this. So it looks like... Oh, because we're rotating it. Okay, got it. So actually... We're doing column and row, or sorry, column minus row, column, row, row, column minus row, column. So pos.x, pos.y. This will be pos.y, pos.x. This will be minus pos.y and pos.x. And then otherwise, if for some reason we'll just return pos. That's never going to happen. We'll say null, even. We can't do null. I'll just return pause, man, at this point. If this ever happens, we have many more problems. That should never happen. And then, so that is class quadrant. So quadrant is done. As for row, I think I will just do class row func. I might just copy most of the implementation of this. So depth is the actual row, start slope, end slope. So depth is a, what is depth? Depth is an int. Start slope is a float, end slope is a float. Right? I think so. I want to say so. It's a little hard to tell because in this they're importing fraction, and I know they're using fractions as that, and I have no clue what that could even mean. But let's see. So the class row is going to take in a depth, self.depth equals depth, self.start slope equals start slope, self.end slope equals end slope. Okay, so those are set up. And then, so tiles will return some gross yield magic. I don't like that. So we'll call this get tiles. I don't know why I keep doing fund get tiles. This will save our min column is, oh, we need to do the round tiles up thing. Is this used elsewhere, or is this only used round size up? This is literally used in this class. It is a 2-line function. We're not playing that game. It's 1 line of function. Math dot, or no, we have floor, which will take in depth times start slope plus 0.5. Because that's the definition of round tiles up. Because we do a floor of start slope plus 0.5. Variable type is being inferred from variant, will be typed as variant. No, you're not. You're a float. You're an int. If you're not, we're going to convert you anyways. So, sorry, buddy. And then same thing here, except we're going to call this x column, which is going to be depth times end slope minus 0.5. And it will be the, do we ever call it, what are the chances we call it ceiling in Godot? We don't. Do we call it seal? Yuck. Oh, hey, Rolo, how's it going? Currently, we are doing line of sight for the player. We're using this article that someone in chat earlier posted, which shows this really cool thing, where it has this step-through function for one of the quadrants and shows you kind of what the algorithm does, and then what the end result is. At what point do you consider rewriting the same lines as opposed to calling a function that does the same thing? I guess this would be a really good example. So right now, I would not rewrite this because there's this function. It's supposed to be round tiles up, but they misspelled it as round ties. So this function is used 1 time. And it passes in a number. And the function just calls floor on this, but adds 0.5. This probably shouldn't be a function. The only thing that might be a little weird about it is if you come back and read this, you might not know what this does. And so you could call the function round tiles up, because then there's no question of what it does later. So it's like there are two things that I would say. When would I rewrite something as a function versus when would I just rewrite the same lines? If I do it more than 2 times, or if I do it more than 1 time, I'll usually consider it at least a little bit. If I do it more than 2 times, I'm probably considering it. If the line of code is like gross and doesn't make a lot of sense, like the inner code uses some weird algorithm, like in pathfinding util. I have this function that was before it was only being used 1 time, which was in, oh sorry, I hit the wrong button. So it was only being used in the enemy's line of sight. And I don't know what that function does. If I see this, I don't know what this does. So I name it something useful, get line 2. So that later, whenever I come back and I reread this, I know exactly what this does, and I don't need to figure out what this dx, dy, error, e2, whatever is. It's been going good. I've tried adding a interactive pizza object like Tuxie or a small breakable box into Mario 64. However, for some reason, gravity and other forces are not applied to it. It also doesn't fully render update after picking it up. It's like Mario picked up a clone until he drops it, and then it updates. There's functions you have to call on it to update the gravity, I want to say. And I don't remember what that's called. And you also have to update the render. I would look at how Bob-ombs do it, but those are also a little weird. I don't think I've added any extra holdable items to Mario 64. I don't have specifically anything for that, I don't think. Okay, so back to Shadow Controller, which is what this is called for now, and it shouldn't be. Yeah, I hope that helps you. I hope that clears some of the questions you had up about functions. It's just usually if it's useful, if it makes sense to, is like a really unfortunate answer to give. But so this is actually going to return a vector, an array of vector 2i, because the original article uses yield, so it's kind of like it does like iteration in a weird way, which is also really weird because you just call this function, this could just be an array. So instead of doing that, I'm going to return an array. So is there an easy way to do array dot something? Can I fill an array? Fill value variant, yes, but that's not exactly what I want. Can I make an array of whatever size I want? I guess it doesn't really matter. So var tiles is an array of vector 2i. Yield might be deprecated in Godot 4. I have no clue. And I'm not about to find it out. Because I don't understand await nearly enough to do this. So I'm not going to use it for that. So what we can do is we can say for I in range min column max column +1, because that's what they're doing here. And I'm just going to append to the array tiles dot append I. Well, I guess I would be the column. So we want to return a vector 2i of depth and I. And then we can return this out. So let's do... So next is not a method I want to recreate in this. That's fine. I think actually that's fine. So what is wrong with this? Identify your min column. Yeah, you're right. Because I named them min column because I didn't want to. I didn't like that. I didn't like that name. So there's a function that does this shadow magic. It's not shadow magic. You're just creating the same row slope and depth. What I think I want to do is I want to just clone a row and then pass that over. Is that all the custom classes we need? We need quadrant. We have row. Def slope. That's just a function. Compute FOV will take in. So it'll create a quadrant. Sorry, I need to highlight this so I can see. Yeah, I think that's all of the custom things. Yeah, okay. So let's do the... Oh, I also hate this about Python. And I might be in the minority for this. I think defining functions like this inside of functions just feels really weird. But that's also a me thing, maybe? Because we have this function here called quadrant. And then we have this variable, this variable called quadrant, which uses this variable called quadrant inside of this inner function. And this just feels really weird to me. So I don't... Because you can do that in Godot, I want to say. I just don't know what the behavior is. It's not undefined. It's just not... I don't understand it. Like if I have like a func called foo, I'm pretty sure I can make a func called bar inside of it. Then we can call that here, right? Standalone lambdas cannot be accessed. Consider assigning it to another variable. Yeah, I don't like it. Let's see. It's just a lot of nesting things. I think it's cleaner in some ways, but it's hard to track. It's really hard to track. If I'm looking at this, I don't know if this belongs to the compute function. I don't know if this belongs, I don't know where quadrant comes from. Or if I'm looking down here at this function, tile is a variable. Where the fuck does quadrant come from? Is this a global variable? Does this belong to a class? Does this belong to an instance of something? I guess it makes a little bit less sense to say, does it belong to a class in Python? Because you would have self up here. So I'm like, okay, is this a global variable? No, this belongs to the function that this function belongs to, which is so yuck to me. I don't know. I found a good use for nested functions, and at best they seem confusing. I'd rather make an external service class than nesting a bunch of functions, really, even if it only ends up being used in one place. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna rewrite this in such a way that, for example, why not just make this a function? Actually, let's write this really quickly. Write this into a... Let me toss this into a notepad or something. Sorry, flashbang warning. Notepad light mode. Why not just pass this in as a fucking variable as a parameter, and then not belong this to the overall function? Tab this back. Oh, that doesn't work in Notepad. Tab it back. And then just make it a standalone function that you can call from inside of your function. You get the same thing done. It's just more readable, though. It's more explicit. Currently making so the object has the balcony boo behavior. Oh. That's interesting. Okay, it looks like I'm not in the minority. We've also got people on Twitch, like Uncle Dabs and Lost Stars, saying, yeah, why wouldn't you just make it a standalone function? Yeah, I don't know. In the Minecraft server, did we make a waystone for the Bastion? I think so. You would need to ask someone who's currently on Minecraft, but No, we did. Yes, we did. So let's do all of this. So where do we start? So we've got quadrant, we've got row, we've got So these functions need to be redefined. Oh, Lord. I wish this was done in a different language. If this was done in C++, I would have probably already had it like rewritten. Hey there, beginner here. Recently downloaded your strategy GG project. Thanks for providing so much content, learning a ton. I'm happy it helps. What made you pick up Godot? Is Godot like the first engine you tried out? Is Unity the first one you tried out, or Unreal? Are you are you a beginner to Godot, or are you a beginner like game dev? Where was okay? So let me close this so I can actually like see most of my code. So we'll have a func called. What is the func? So we will call this compute FOV to just mirror what the article has. The origin will be the player's position. So I'll just pass in player. How about that? Is blocking? I don't know what is blocking is. Ah. Okay, I see. So this is also a thing I hate about not having type hints. I thought is blocking was a variable. I thought that was a flag that you're passing in. It's not. It's a function. It's a callable. We're passing in a callable. This is like a lambda that we're passing in. But you can't tell that. Mark visible is also a function that we're passing in. Whatever, man. Whatever floats your boat, Python. So we actually won't have either of those. So we'll just pass in the player. So var origin is the player.grid position. Yeah, you can pass in functions. You can do that in Godot as well. So like if I have a function called like myfunc, where it takes in like a number, which is of type int, and we can print that out. We can actually like do another function, which is like call function. Which there's reasons that you would want to do this. This is a very stupid thing. So they're called callables here, and then you can do f.call and pass in, like let's say you have like a number that you pass in. You can say num. And then down here I can say call function. I can pass in myfunc as a variable, not like this, but as a variable. Pass in 10, and then that works. So what this does is this calls the function. It passes in a reference to this function, not to be confused with like using the parentheses. If you do the parentheses, that actually calls the function. And then, I mean, this one goes in here, and then we call it using this parameter. There's reasons you would want to do that. Just not here, because I think that adds more complexity that we don't need. So we will do, let's see. So I guess we'll need to make another couple of functions. So def reveal. So what does reveal do? Reveal mark visible. I guess we'll have var visible tiles. There's an array of vector2i. So reveal will take in a position, vector2i, and we'll do, it will also take in a quadrant. And the reason we're doing a quadrant is because quadrants have this transform function, which will rotate it in whatever direction it needs to be. Var built-in type cannot be used as a name on its own. You're right. There we go. So quadrant.transform will be the like actual position, which will be like, what can I call this? What can I call this? We'll just call it like true position, or like world pause. There we go. So then we can see if visible tiles dot has world pause. Sorry, if it doesn't have it, then what we'll do is we'll say visible tiles dot append world pause. Started with Unity through Brackeys a couple years ago. Now getting back in with Godot with his new tutorial, but really a beginner. I feel that. I also started with Unity and used it for a long time. And then I tried Godot. I bounced off of it like 2 or 3 times. It just didn't work for me. And then one day I was watching a Heartbeast tutorial and it finally like clicked and I started using it. And now I have not one single time looked back at Unity. But that was like way before the issues with Unity. That was just because of my personal preference of this engine makes more sense to my brain than Unity does. But Brackeys is the GOAT. Brackeys is also how I learned game development with Unity originally. That in like college. So def is wall is not something I need to worry about. Is floor is not something I need to worry about. Scan is a function that I will need to worry about. So scan will take in a row of type row, and I'm assuming a quadrant. Yes, it's going to take in a quadrant. Because it calls mark visible, right? It calls reveal, which marks it as visible. Yes, okay. So in this, what is previous tile for? Oh, Lord. Sorry, let me reread through some of these specific lines of code. So we create a previous tile, which is none. We say tile equals row.tiles if it's a wall or is symmetric. I don't... Row depth column equals tile. Turn column is asymmetric checks if a given floor tile can be seen symmetrically from the origin. Can be seen symmetrically from the origin. Returns true if the central point of the tile is in the sector swept out by the row's start and end slopes, otherwise it returns false. What does that mean? Whatever, this is a function I'm sure I'm going to need, so we're going to convert it to GD script just in case. Now, func is symmetric. Make sure this is a tab and not a space. These are spaces. So this takes in a row and a position, which is a vector 2i. A row is of type row. This returns out a bool. So what we can do is we deconstruct this. I don't want to do that because that's stupid. Deconstructing is stupid in this case. So we can just do pause.y instead of and. Why don't we use like the actual programming term? Okay, so in this, what we're doing is if the position.y is greater than row depth, greater than or equal to row depth times start slope, and it's less than or equal to... I won't lie, I don't know what this does. I read the paragraph for it. I'm gonna find out if it's needed. We're gonna test that together, I guess. So in scan, what we're doing is... So if there's no tile, so 4 tiles, so we grab the first tile in the row. Okay. So this is run for every row that we pass in. We grab the first tile in the row. If it's a wall or if it's symmetric, we reveal it. Okay. If it's a wall and it's a floor. Oh, if the previous tile was a wall and this one is a floor, start slope is equal to slope tile. Okay, so we don't have a slope yet. We're setting this slope up because we've just hit our first wall and this is like our first free space. So it's like casting the shadow behind it. And slope is this. So we deconstruct this. We do 2 times y minus 1, 2 times row depth. And the reason for that is I don't know. Another annoying thing in SM64 is using flat planes that Mario can just clip through for level geometry on one side. Oh, like walls? Like all walls are just flat planes. Yeah, a little bit. SM64 has a bunch of like really annoying rules, but at the same time, like, it's kind of charming to work in. So I guess I'll just copy this, I guess. So this is what's the purpose of fraction? I'm gonna look this up. Python fraction library. Is this just like a number? It's not. I don't think that matters though. I think I can just use a float here instead. So where is slope? So this function is going to be func slope, which will return out a float. This will take in position of vector 2i. And instead of columns, will be pos.y. This will also take a row of row. And row dot row depth. Instead of deconstructing a tile, whatever the hell that's supposed to be, we just take in a position and call the y coordinate on it. Because I don't know why we wouldn't just do that in the first place. So for scan, the next thing we need to do is... Alright, sorry, I'm still reading through this. So slope does matter. So we set the start slope to that. So if we've reached our first free space, that is now the shadow that we're casting. Cool. If it is a floor, if the last one was a floor and this one is a tile, next row, so we grab the next row, we set its end slope to a slope. Okay. And then we call scan on next row. And then after all of this, we set up the previous tile. So I guess is floor also probably checks if there's a tile. Okay, that's fine. I can add these in line, probably. So let's start writing this a little bit. Because I think we have most things here. So I'll say var previous pos is a vector 2i. Which actually might end up being a problem. Because vector 2i can't be set to null. Vector 2 also can't be set to null. And the only problem with setting this to 0, 0 is can this ever be used? Can 0, 0 ever be a valid tile? I don't know. The answer is yes. I might have to worry about that. I might just set it to like -1, -1, because that's outside of the world coordinates. We'll do that for now. That feels a little gross, but... So now we can do for tile in row dot get tiles. So this will return all the tiles we want to loop over in this row, in the row. We can say if... So if it's a wall, in our case, would be our grid cell grid world dot get cell at tile. Is tile of vector 2i? It is. So we'll call this one pause. So here, let's see. So for pause in row dot get tiles, grid cell, so we get what's at the grid cell if grid cell dot blocks movement. I guess would be blocks vision. That counts as a wall, so that is our wall. Or is symmetric row pause. I don't exactly know what is symmetric is going to do here. We can call reveal, passing in quadrant and the current position. Okay. Otherwise, I guess maybe not otherwise, but if grid cell... Okay, here's what we can do. So for previous pause, we can say previous cell instead. Grid cell. So if previous cell and previous cell dot blocks vision. So if it blocks vision and so it's looking for and is floor. What does the is floor function do here? Returns that it's not blocking. Okay. Why don't we just do var blocks vision? So instead of doing this stupid thing where we check if the current cell, instead of doing this stupid thing where we check if it blocks movement and also checking if it doesn't block movement here, and then also checking if it blocks movement here, and also here, and also here, which, you know, maybe in this case is like a little bit weird to worry about, but we can just do that 2 times up here and then reuse these variables as many times as we need. So if blocks vision and or is symmetric, sure. If previous blocks vision and not blocks vision. So if our current cell doesn't block vision, this is where we have an open like line of sight. So we can say row.start slope is equal to slope of the current position. Oh, sorry, we also need to pass in the row. Sorry, and fraction can just be this. Oh, wait. Oh, God, how do you var numerator is equal to this var denominator? No way I spelled that correct on the first try. Numerator divided by denominator. Also, I want to make sure that these are floats because they should be. Row depth is an int, I want to say. Oh, row depth doesn't exist. So anywhere I'm calling row depth, I need to change that to be just depth. Yeah, and then here, this needs to be a float. Okay, so that should work. This is going to be one of the worst things ever to debug if this doesn't work first try. So I'm really just praying it does. So if the previous tile doesn't block vision, and our current tile blocks vision, then we will say next row is equal to row.next. Did I not make a function called next in here? I didn't yet. Okay, that's fine. For that, what I can do is I can say, right, because next, all next does is it returns a row with the same thing. I can actually just do that here like this. And then say var next row is row.new, passing in the current depth plus 1 start slope and the end slope. And then return that out. Okay, yes. Yes, cool. So then back up here. What is the definition of next row? How long does this live? Like the lifetime is right here, right? Okay. Let me actually double check. Next row. Yeah, okay. That's only used in this function. That's fine. So we can say var next row is row.next. Did I call it next? I did. Okay, cool. And now I have the problem where the word next does not look like a word to me, which is very unfortunate. What is the purpose of this? What's the purpose of this? This function creates a new row with the same end slope and then immediately overwrites it with this slope call. Like, what the fuck do you mean? Also, does this use the current row? I want to say this uses the current row. It's hard to read this code. And then we'll call scan with quadrant next row. So this will recursively call itself here. You can say previous cell is equal to cell, current grid cell, at the end of all this. And then we can say back outside of this, if previous cell and previous cell dot blocks vision, or sorry, if it doesn't block vision, we'll call scan quadrant row dot next. And then I want to say that is all the code for this. That looks minus whatever compute FOV does, which hopefully isn't a lot of code. It isn't. Okay. So the first thing we do is we say visible tiles dot end player dot grid position. So we add the player's position to the visible tiles. I guess for compute FOV, we'll also say visible tiles dot clear. Does that removes all elements? Yes. Cool. So we'll remove all the visible tiles. Then we will go for I in range 4. Range is not a, or actually, we don't need a range function. It's Godot. Or I in 4. Quadrant equals quadrant I origin. Quadrant.new. Sorry. Argument 1, yeah, because I wanted origin to be correct. The first one makes sense. So the cardinal is I, which I'm going to say cardinal. Okay, and the problem for this is quadrant is not declared in the scope. You're right, our quadrant. And then we can call scan with the current quadrant and or whatever this does. So okay, man. Fraction minus 1 and fraction of 1. Sure, dude. Whatever. What does that even mean? Python fraction library. Or actually, I can probably just find this out if I Python import or from fractions import fraction fraction minus 1 x equals fraction minus 1. Is there like a Python fraction library? Is there a 2 decimal function per chance? is integer, from float, from decimal, limit denominator, floor, round, format. Oh, wow. I guess I'll just do that then. I guess I'll do format, X. Oh, cool. Unsupported format string passed into... Did I do something wrong? That's literally what's in the documentations, no? That's literally what's in the documentation. Am I... Right? Format fraction. Like, what if I do, like, fraction minus 1? Yeah, okay. Unsupported format string. Thanks for the documentation, by the way. That'd be, like, super cool if you, like, worked, but I guess we won't do that. Sick. All right, whatever. I'm just gonna assume this is... It's just gonna be minus 1 and 1, and we're gonna see if it works. So the first call to this will be this, where we say first row equals row, and we create a row of depth 1 with a fraction of minus 1 and 1. This is for every quadrant, and then we'll call scan. So for here, compute f of e. So for the function, we'll say first row is a row.new 1 minus 1 1. A stupid looking function. And then we will say scan quadrant row. And then we can print out all of the visible tiles and pray that this works. Identifier row is not its first row. And then inside of the player, we will say update site on load. And instead of using the site controller, we will use the shadow controller, which will end up replacing the site controller once it works. We call it site controller as well, but for now it's not. Uh-oh. Can I infer type grid cell? That's fine. That's great. That was... That's not even a problem. That's one of the easiest issues to fix. Please work, please work, please work. I named the function wrong. Oh, you require the player? Okay. You will pass in self. Okay. Non-existent function blocks vision in base nil. Okay. Because I forgot to check if grid cell. Holy shit. Okay. There's no promise that it worked, but the fact that it didn't crash again is a little cool. I tried to out of voxel mining and failed miserably. Uh-oh. How miserably are we talking? Okay, so now, what are these? So these are global positions? I guess we can find out. So back inside of the player, I'm going to call Q redraw. And we can say for position in shadow controller dot visible tiles. We'll just see if that works. We'll find out. Ooh. Funky. Something is wrong here. So the problem here, I'm assuming assuming has something to do with this cardinal matching. We don't have any errors. What the fuck, do we? We don't. So let me print these out really quickly. Instead of printing visible tiles, I guess we will. We do need to print visible tiles. What if scan returned? Uh-oh. Okay, let's find out first. So 1911. How many times are we seeing that in the console? Well, that doesn't work. Let's just do one quadrant at a time then. How about that? Does one quadrant work? Almost, but not really. Oh, Lord. Okay, so what's wrong with this? What is the problem here? Do any of the quadrants work? I will set that to 0 for now. And then I will... Cardinals not determined. So we'll just pass in 0 really quickly. Let me comment this out. The first one should be up. So does up work? Okay, well, that's to the right, which is not exactly what I wanted. Oh, Lord. And if I change this to positive y, this does nothing. Cool. Is this checking the correct thing? Cardinal to 0. We do reach this. Origin is 19,11, which is the player's position, I'm assuming. Maybe, potentially. So position is 1 minus 1. What if we just use those directly? Oh, wait, no, hold on. Because we're scanning it in world coordinates. Do these even need to be transformed? What if I just, like, don't do that? What if I just, like, return that? This is going to print errors if I leave that, though. What does this do? Oh, sick. Okay. Never mind. That doesn't need something to do. And the issue here... Yes, well, I don't know if it's supposed to, but I am following this article, or attempting to, where they do it in Python, and they're doing... Because the quadrants are, from what I understand, direction agnostic. So, like, the actual individual processing that's run... Oh, hold on, the program is lagging again. I need to talk to Quellis about that then, because that program isn't supposed to lag. Or it's not lag, it like gets desynced. Okay, there we go. So for each of the quadrants, it runs the same algorithm, but it transforms them differently. So I want to say, like, I could just... What if I just, like, rotated it? What if I just said, like, origin plus, like, position dot rotated? Oh, no, there's no rotated on vector 2i. Okay, what if I do var float pause is a vector 2i of the position, or sorry, a vector 2 of the position. For this, we will say float pause dot rotated minus 90. A vector 2i of that. And I can write this as cleaner code if this ends up working. Because then then what we could do is we could say all of these were rotated 0, rotated 90, rotated 180. Those are going to be wrong because those are supposed to be deg2 rad, which I can do by... Okay, we'll see if that works. It might not. So it's facing up. Ooh. The line of sight... is not working. Although, actually... Hold on. Hold on. We're doing some funky stuff. This feels really gross to do. Currently. Updates. Site. We'll just do this every physics frame. This is gonna print a bunch of gross shit. That's fine though. That's fine. Don't worry about it. It'll stop in a second. Okay. Oh, I can feel the lag whenever I press like a key. So this isn't updating at all, actually. It looks like none of the squares are disappearing. None of the squares are moving. Okay. So what is... Oh no. I'm going to look something up in just a second. Give me a second. Godot, symmetric, shadow casting. I'm looking on Reddit now to see if anyone has just implemented this in Godot. Looks like this person has some stuff. Do you have by chance? Oh, that would be like really cool if these were named, I won't lie. Generic entity, generating a dungeon, field of view. Okay. I don't think symmetric shadow casting is how I'm going to go about doing this because I don't understand the code that it's doing. Like, this code is all... Something in here is messing up and I don't know what it is. I could keep trying... I am going to keep trying to debug it because getting it to work would be really cool. I'm not going to promise that I can. Let's get rid of this symmetric thing. I don't know what this does. I don't know what symmetric does. Okay. Cool. So that... Not great. Not great in the slightest, actually. Let's see. So for quadrant, let's just start with a... What was I doing before in here? In quadrant. I was doing... Let's set this guy back to default, wherever it is. So for east, we'll just do what we were doing before, which is vector 2i, pos.x, pos.y. And then I'm going to do just the east direction, wherever quadrant.new is. Origin. Origin is player.grid position, passing the origin. And we want to do a transform. So just transform Reveal world tiles. Wait, where's reveal being called from? Is position... Okay, wait. I think I know what's going on. Hold on. So this needs to be the player grid position because we're not playing this game. At on ready var player is of type player, which is going to get the owner. So we grab the player's grid position, we add the position onto it because this is not a world position. This is an offset. We will do reveal. Reveal will transform. At this point, we would need to do player.grid position minus, or we would need to subtract the player's grid position from this to get it back to relative coordinates. Okay. Does that change anything by chance, or does that break more things? Cool. Yeah, that's not right. In fact, that's off by like a lot. Which is unfortunate. So previous blocks vision is if we have a previous cell and that cell blocks vision. So if we have no cell, it doesn't block vision. If the current blocks vision, that means we have a cell and it currently blocks vision. If it blocks vision, we're revealing it. Why are we revealing it? Oh, because this is also where we did or is symmetric, which I still don't know what it does, but I'm going to hope that this fixes it, although I don't think it will. Oh, wait. Should pause be... Is pause world coordinates in this? So, oh god. You do get a gravestone if you die in lava. Also, hey Tabby. I am so unbelievably lost on this algorithm now. So, scan, we grab row.tiles. Tiles is tile a world coordinate. Is tile a world coordinate? Tiles returns an iterator over the tiles in a row. This function considers a tile to be in the row. Great. If it's only tangent, it doesn't become part of the row. Min column, round ties up, start slope, max column, depth, and slope. This seems like this is a relative. Yes, this is all relative, which is not great. Oh, Lord. Right, because that doesn't fix it. That does something, just not... Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm noticing something a little bit here. Oh, wait. That's, like, correct? Almost? There's, like, a few small issues here. Like, what the fuck is going on here? It would be in the lava. What is going on here? And why is this blocking? Is it because I'm doing is symmetric? I don't know. Is symmetric. Where did that fix things? Okay. So I think my problem is I don't know what the fuck is symmetric does. Because it looks like this is handling... Uh-oh. What? Why is this not in vision here, but it is in vision now? Okay, and then if I add back is symmetric, that goes up to this. So there's definitely an issue somewhere here. I really want to know what the fuck this is supposed to do. It's symmetric. If the position is greater than road depth, time start slope. Is this we're just going until we find a wall, and then if that, I don't even know what the fuck that means. So let's look back at scan, and we'll see if I can, let's compare this. Actually, is there a GitHub project with this somewhere? Holy shit, there is. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. And there's the server. There's server configs. I don't really care. We're going to go ahead and paste this in. Close the file browser. And then we're going to copy this in. And I'm going to compare the two functions. You're going to be upset with me for a little bit, but that's fine. Actually, can I just open up... There we go. Okay, so compute f of v, so we'll mark the player's tile as visible. Okay, sure. I guess in this case it would be 0, 0. Yeah, so we'll just mark 0, 0 as visible. Let me fix that really quickly. Or is there even a reason to have origin anymore? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Vector 2i 0, 0. That should make the player's tile visible at least. Yes. Cool. And you can see that it's like really weird that as we go down and to the right. What about if we go up and to the right? No. So as we go down, the player loses vision. Is it because we're hitting the bottom of the screen? I think it's because we're hitting the bottom of the screen. So let's say... if our target position vector 2i equals player.grid position plus pause. If target position dot x is greater than grid world dot world size dot x. I'm making a function really quickly because this is going to be ugly. Inbounds this vector 2i boolean is inbounds. Sorry, bool. My Java showed for a second. Return. So if the position dot x is less than 0, I guess if it's greater than 0, greater than equal to 0, and pause dot x is less than world size dot x, and pause dot y is greater than or equal to 0. I'm copying this. I'm not typing very fast right now. And then I can just stop. So if grid world is in bounds, the target position. So if it's not in bounds, then we will just return, I think. What does that do? Does this break things like in a disgusting way, or does this fix things in a... This does neither. Okay. Yeah, so target position is definitely outside of the scope of things. Oh no, dude. Okay. So I want to say the issue is something odd is happening here as it steps off the screen. So let's find out if the north direction works really quickly. So if I set this as 0, this doesn't because of something. And that's because when we're transforming this, we're still using this weird thing. So instead, let's try using... What if I just do that? Does it just work? No. So this will need to be rotated. Does this at least look correct? Wait, no, this is still... This is checking this direction. This isn't even, like, rotating it. What if I do, like, minus pos.y? No. What if I do minus pos x? Okay, well, that's definitely the left direction. That's down. Off by, like, a little bit. So it would just be minus y. Nope. That doesn't look right to me. Minus x. Still doesn't look right to me. Oh, dude. Okay. I don't know if I want to keep using this algorithm. This algorithm is starting to hurt me a lot. I might just switch to a different algorithm now, because this one is not going well. Either that, or I might explore it more off stream, but I'm thinking, wait, that looks like up. Player's direction, the player's down here for some reason. Oh. This is not what I wanted to happen. What if I just use, like, this? Incorrect. Okay, I don't know what's up with that, but... I think I'm going to swap to a different algorithm at some point. Instead of doing whatever the hell that is. Because I saw that there was... No, I have not. Is there a talk on that? Because I would be super interested in that. But this person has a roguelike tutorial as well. Project, change settings, colorful PC, PC move over dungeon, best scheduling, field of view. Oh, hold on. What? Chapter 5 is field of view. Okay, so they're building the dungeon. That's great. Where's the field of view? Implement diamond FOV without site memory. So 10 files are modified or created in this commit. 2 of them are existing scripts. Visual effect, convert chord. I don't care too much about those. Another 2 scripts are updated to use the new functions. We use a dictionary called FOV map to store field of view data. Okay, sick. The grid XY is in PC site if that is true. Okay. True, sure. Diamond field of view works like this. A sprite has a light color if it is close to P. Okay, great. Store it as that. Where are we doing the actual, like, checking? Or is diamond FOV just a... In order to put into use... What is diamond FOV? Get FOV map. Source vector 2 eyesight range out FOV map dictionary. Where are they doing the actual FOV creation? Because this doesn't look like FOV map. For X in all the keys, we will record is in range. That doesn't look like what I want. So it's probably this one. I'm probably going to use this one. Which I probably can just like copy and paste in. So let's do this. Also, if you have a link to that Caves of Qud talk, I would be down to see that. But for now, I'm going to kill the shadow controller and I'm going to add a new script, which is going to be called site controller 2, whatever, even though it's the third one. And we're going to try this one. Yet another roguelike. So what does this one do? So this one has multipliers for what? Where are multipliers used? Cast light. I don't know what that is. Is this also recursive? This is not recursive. So for all of the 8 directions, we cast a light. Is this... No, this is recursive. Okay. Start radius or start slope is 1 and slope is 0. Sure. Oh, wait, this uses like a matrix. Okay, this is breaking my brain. I'm not doing this today. Is there anything I can take care of today quickly while we're sitting here? Let's implement memory for the enemy. So enemy chase. I'm gonna add back in could see, I think, which really sucks. Could see false. So if we can't see, then we want to say if could see target position equals player dot grid position could see equals false. That should be fine. And then if we can see the player, then we will just want to update. Anytime we can see the player, we'll just say we could see the player. Because I want to say right now, there's actually like a small issue. I mean, there's many issues actually, but specifically right now, let's get rid of the call to update site. And then add in some more enemies because I removed them when trying to do FOV. Say there's an enemy up here. If the player steps into the enemy site and back out... Oh no, I guess the enemy does check, or does chase. So never mind. I thought there was an issue, but I guess there's not. Enemy chase is the file I was in. Target position is player position. Could see equals false. Could see is set to true if we can see the player. So why didn't that work? So right now the enemy can see us. Whenever I step out of the way, the enemy should have known about me. Okay. So we can't see. Could see was not set to true. Why? Oh, because we were still in idle. That's why. Right? No. Yes. Yeah, because we never ran the actual code for chase. So the player wasn't envisioned for at least 2 turns. That's fine. So for example, if I walk up here, stand in vision, so the enemy should now move to this square, which it does. It will now chase the player until the player stays out of vision for enough time. There we go. Cool. So the enemy will now move to the last position they saw the player in, unless the player left the site like immediately, at which point we can call that like the enemy just has bad reaction time. Both of these kind of suck. Well, they don't suck. Symmetric shadow casting doesn't suck. It's just converting it sucks. I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with calling that for today, because I just spent 2 hours trying to do a conversion that didn't end up working. Let's do git commit end of day 8, which really sucks to end this on like a not super productive note. But I guess I learned my line of sight implementation does not work the way I want it to. The wait, do I have a cap on the shadow controller? When does this end? Do I have an exit condition? I guess it's until I hit a wall, but that's... Hold on. It's until it goes off the screen, which is a problem. We'll say, like, if depth is greater than, like, 3. I actually... Okay, hold on. I'm not ending the stream yet. I've got an idea, and I want to try something. Because I don't have an exit condition on my... thing. So let's find out why... What happens if I say... Get tiles if depth is greater than 10 return tiles. So instead of north, we're looking at east. So what happens in east? Okay, so this still does break. So there is still the problem of whenever the thing steps off the edge, it doesn't continue onward, which is a problem. Which is actually really bizarre, because it doesn't treat it as if it's a wall or anything. Because if I put a bunch of walls down here, this works fine, right? Yeah, so it's like... What is the difference? So you can see right here. This is what's really fucking bizarre about this. So if we have a bunch of walls... Uh-oh. Yeah, I can't edit that while it's running. Sorry. Sorry. So if we have a bunch of walls, the depth is fine. When we don't have a bunch of walls... Okay, well, hold on. I need to remove these walls then. Because it doesn't specifically work. Tile map, walls, erase those. So you can see, yeah, this is like really weird. If there's walls, if it collides with walls, that's fine. Everything's great. The second that it collides with out of bounds, it breaks. So what am I doing differently in that case? Is this is not the correct thing. Okay. So in the case, let's say, let's get rid of this for a second. If we block vision, blocking vision is the same as checking if it's there. If cell, if there's a previous cell. Okay, now hold on. What does this look like? So outside of this, so we say if this is a floor, if the previous tile was a floor. So if the previous tile, either if there is no previous tile, or it doesn't block vision, maybe might. Uh-oh, broke. Stack overflow, stack size, 1024, check for infinite recursion in your script. Shit. Yeah, okay. No, that checks out. Previous cell. Like, if I just don't have this code, this does not work, right? Like, this just, like, fucks up. Yes, we only check that, which is, like, a problem. But if there was a previous cell, no. Okay, that doesn't work. Let me reload the script just in case. No, that doesn't work. Oh, if not previous block vision. Oh. Check for infinite recursion in your script. What is the max stack size? Can I change that? Put that to 1020 or 2048. And also I will say and row dot depth is less than or equal to 10. Just for double checking purposes so we don't actually kill like anything. Okay, that looks... Wait, okay, hold on. This looks right. Kind of. Is it also drawing off the world, though, is my next question. It is. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. I'm noticing that there's, like, a bunch more lag when I'm pressed up against the wall. You can see that it's, like, very laggy. Huh. So I wonder what the best way to approach this sort of section would be, because this shouldn't be being checked at all. Hold on. Can I just check if row.depth? So does this do the same thing? It does. Minus a few oddities. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to drop a to-do here. To-do. This is weird. We are checking off the grid when we shouldn't be. Maybe need some specific checks to my world system. So maybe I can use this. Maybe this does work. And then in here, I need to just drop it to do. I don't know what this is doing, man. Okay. I'm going to call it for today then. On that. This doesn't work. This isn't correct. But it is almost working. There's something here that feels like it's almost working. So I'm going to call that for today. And then we will see if I can get this to work another day. But we shall see. So I will catch you guys on Tuesday, I think. And then we'll see if we can get this working. But goodbye. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.